Hello and welcome to the Flourishing Introvert Talks with me, Jo Rawbone. This is the podcast that celebrates the natural gifts of introverts so that we can flourish in all situations. Episode 311, Introvert Authority Through Listening. This episode feels like the most natural successor to last week's episode about the damage the current trend for hustling has on we introverts. And yes, I'm choosing to treat it as a trend because of how it's been popularised by influencers. Ugh. I know that January is typically a very busy month for many of my professional services clients, so they're used to undue haste, the forgotten niceties, the clipped tones. But why does it carry on into the rest of the year? In short, habit. The lack of care and consideration has become the new norm, and we know only too well that it takes real intention to break one habit and create a better one to replace it with. This is tough work that many are too busy or too preoccupied to do. And all the while we comply with the pressure to make decisions on the hoof, to meet impossibly tight timelines, and to excuse bad behaviour, being told, everyone is stressed, get over yourself. We lose a little more of ourself. I mean, really. That kind of gaslighting is just so out of order, and we deserve more respect, especially in professional settings. So why is this topic a natural progression? Well, because for one thing, hustling and being hustled detaches us from many of our natural talents, and the talent I'm focusing on today is listening. There's barely a course I deliver when I don't remind delegates that we're taught how to read, taught how to write, but not taught how to listen. And this is so evident in today's society, not helped, of course, by the myriad of distractions that make it even more difficult to focus. Whether it's our phones, chat channels, or email notifications, it's never ending. And to make matters worse, very little of it is really necessary, and even less of it adds value. It simply drags our attention away like a needy toddler from where we should be focusing. Where's the respect in that? I happen to believe that introverts have a better capacity for listening, but that doesn't mean it automatically equates into better application. Want to know my rationale? Okay, here goes. As we typically prefer to speak less, and often only when we feel we have something of value to add, this means that we are quieter. There's the capacity, as it's, honestly, impossible to listen whilst you're speaking. In fact, I'll go so far as to say it's really difficult to listen well if you're doing anything else. But being quiet isn't the same as being a great listener. I doubt I'll need to remind any of my introverted listeners just how easy it is for us to get caught up in our thoughts and our world of imagination. And I find this scarily easy when the person I'm supposed to be listening to is boring. So the truth is, having capacity is not the same as demonstrating the skill of listening. There's another thing I need to get off my chest as we're talking about this. Listening is not a soft skill. Having worked for as long as I have as a learning and development professional, and that's coming on 40 years, I realised long ago that there is nothing soft or indeed easy about the interpersonal skills required in business and life. And with the way technology is advancing, many of those skills are being sidelined until we've lost the personal bit of interpersonal. Someone posted something rather banal on the infamous Book of Faces recently. It read thus: "Chatting with an introvert is like an interview. If you don't ask her questions, she has nothing to tell you. My response was a bewildered, isn't that how conversation works? There would be complaints aplenty and some serious concern if I approached complete strangers and spouted random shit at them, expecting an intelligent response. Oh my God. I've just realised how often this has actually happened to me, and I'm now wondering if it was extroverts needing a battery top-up. How come it's taken me this long? Anyway, focus now, Joe, focus. The reality is that talking at people is not the best form of communication, and certainly not where we have relationships to maintain, business to discuss, and problems to resolve. So here's what listening is, in my mind at least. It's part of a communication process that requires active rather than passive involvement. I need to apply myself to actually listen rather than passively register noise and simply hear. So there is a massive difference between listening and hearing. I also believe communication comes with shared responsibility in that one party needs to package their message so it's more likely to be received and understood as intended, whilst the other party needs to focus, avoid distractions, and really pay attention to what is being said. It's a kind of verbal tennis match, if you like. We see double faults served when someone doesn't tailor their message to the listener, and points are lost when someone tries to play a return shot before the ball is even on their side of the net. Let me explain. Many people, in their desire for haste or their need to be right, listen to reply rather than listen to understand. As Stephen Covey stated so clearly in Habit 5 of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, we need to listen deeply and empathically before we speak. Yet our default, especially when hustled, is for our listening to become very functional or transactional, meaning we auto-respond and miss the empathic element. We focus on the words and take them at face value rather than taking the time to understand their meaning. Carl Rogers nailed this back in the 1950s and 60s when he said, "Man's inability to communicate is a result of his failure to listen effectively." See, it's not a soft skill at all. This realisation led Rogers to coin the phrase active listening, a concept we still use to this day to denote respectful and effective listening. That's the type of listening where we engage our emotional intelligence and empathy so we really understand and acknowledge the speaker's perspective. As you might gather, it's so much more than hearing noise, so much more than pretending to listen, so much more than feigning attentiveness. Now, if we share the responsibility to communicate effectively, as I believe we do, what does that mean for we introverts? Here are some simple guidelines that have helped me to override my personal quiet autoresponder and demonstrate authority through my listening. Number 1, ready myself to listen. It's an active, not a passive process, remember, so turn to face the speaker and put down or move away any distractions that might otherwise steal my attention. This is the first respectful step and reduces the likelihood of me escaping to my own thoughts when I should be listening. Number 2, put myself in the speaker's shoes. Many people are nervous about speaking out, and I know just how much having someone listen actively encourages me to get my message across clearly. The nods and smiles make a world of difference. Number 3, listen to understand. Having reactions to what is being said is completely normal, so notice them and decide if and when to articulate them. But do this as a response, not a reaction. This is when it really pays to listen with your eyes and your ears. Number 4, check understanding. Clarify what you're hearing and ask questions that will help you and them understand what is really being said. Where possible, use their words rather than paraphrasing, as that introduces your own filters and potential biases. Number 5, schedule a best time. If it's genuinely a bad time because you have a deadline looming, but they clearly want to talk, name the pressure you're facing and how that will make it difficult for you to be there for them in the way you'd like to be. This is an important trust builder move. Then, agree a time that works for you both and start back over at step number 1. Ready yourself. Those 5 simple guidelines have served me well over the years and continue to do so. Notice how great listening, really effective listening, naturally includes some of the other essential communication skills. Giving them space, not interrupting or finishing their sentence, asking questions, clarifying and summarising, holding space for thoughts to emerge. This is the spaciousness we introverts can find so easy as it plays to our natural strengths. But I've found that we have to turn one thing on first, our desire to listen. I see so many posts from introverts claiming that they don't care about people or what they have to say and are just not interested in listening. They joyfully share how they eye roll when anyone tries to talk to them. Please know that this is not an automatic introvert default. There is something else going on here, and because it can be a whole host of things, I'm not going to speculate right now. The important thing is, if you notice this about yourself, whether it's all of the time or just when certain people speak, or when you're in a particular frame of mind, stay curious and explore what's going on. There may inevitably be a comfort zone stretch into your learning edge happening, which is so good for your personal and professional growth. So what have we established by focusing on how introverts demonstrate authority through listening? Here's a quick summary. Times of fast pace and hustle disconnect us from a natural strength. Hearing, listening, and active listening are very different things. Effective listening is intentional and comes with shared responsibilities. The way we listen can build or break trust. We cannot truly listen and do anything else. So I have an invitation for you. I invite you to notice who really listens in your sphere of influence and who pays lip service to it. Then follow the impact that each of these behaviours creates. It'll be fascinating to hear what you find at the end of the trail of breadcrumbs. If there's one thing that may persuade you to listen with your eyes, ears, and heart, it's noticing the impact it has. Happy listening. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, then please subscribe, rate us and leave a comment, because we know that helps other people find the podcast. And if other people find us, other introverts can flourish.
You are listening to an Intentional Media Production podcast.